Local self-help group linked to Bedford deaths. Domi, Dominion of Man's Intellect, self-styled Dr. Vanessa Fazan. Mysterious deaths and apparent suicides of several older women. Mosley, Gilbert, Randolph.
Oh, Vaughn and I were getting along just fine until this stuff with Tina.
Well, there'll be no more threats about the contract, and I trust the relationship will soon mend.
So do I.
Vaughn's made some changes in several areas of his life the last few days.
Really?
Yes.
You think he's changed his mind about me being the father of Tina's baby?
From what I know, she still insists that he's responsible.
And he doesn't agree?
Not so far. Maybe this new outlook will bring about a change. Oh, no. This whole thing's a crutch that he's latched onto.
I know it's none of my business, Preston, but what sort of crutch?
I don't think he'd mind my telling you. Apparently, under the tutelage of Dave Phillips, Vaughn claims to have adopted a whole new set of religious beliefs.
Ah. That may not be a crutch, Preston.
Why you say that?
Well, if I know Dr. Phillips and some other people that have the same beliefs, like my father and my sister, this may be a whole new way of life for Vaughn.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? In any case, I'm glad we have this other situation all smoothed out. Look, we're all very pleased with the job Prescott Development is doing so far. Now, you keep up the good work.
Well, thanks, Preston. I'm glad to hear that. Does that mean I can go ahead with the warehouses next week? That was the original schedule.
Of course. You have any problems, give me a call.
You know I'll do that. Thanks again, Preston.
You're welcome.
See you soon. Right. Oh, Congressman.
You? Preston, we need to talk.
I don't feel that need, and I shouldn't think you would either.
I'd like a chance to explain what happened this morning.
I understood completely.
I think you'd very much like to hear what I have to say.
And there's no sense beating a dead horse.
Well, from my vantage point, the horse isn't dead. In fact, he's very much alive and kicking. If you don't want to talk, let's put it this way. Would you like to make a deal?
Look, John, I'm sorry I can't take care of it right now. I'm doing surgery in 15 minutes. All right. Tell me what the problem is.
Don't mock that which you don't understand.
There's nothing to understand with Domi. It's a perfect reflection of its creator. It's clever, complicated, entertaining, diverting, deceptive, and totally empty. It's a maze that leads nowhere, a puzzle whose only real challenge is to figure out its usefulness.
I accept.
You accept what?
I accept the challenge you just gave me. You want me to prove that my power is real. Done.
Yeah, I'll check back with you later. Sure, but you owe me one. Yeah. Now, where were we? Benjamin? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, maybe you'd better grab a cup of coffee before we head up to the OR.
Oh, no, I'm fine. I was just thinking about something else.
Going to need your wits about you for this one, old Betty.
Hey, don't worry about it, okay? I'm all right, Brian.
Well, since I intend to take full credit for being your mentor in this surgical procedure, I have a special interest in your doing a good job. So, You want to go over it one more time?
Oh, Brian. Okay, first delineate and expose the levator aponeurosis and differentiate the Mueller's muscle.
And remember, you're going to be working in a field of tissue layers. Those thin, delicate muscles are going to be difficult to detect.
Next, I dissect the muscle planes, the levators first, then the Mueller muscles.
Right, and I cannot emphasize enough the importance of that one step. It is the key to the success of the whole operation. But, after you get through with that dissection, well, the rest of it's a piece of cake.
Brian, we've been over this so many times, I think I could do an eye lift in my sleep.
Okay, okay. You just keep that hand steady, and everything will be fine. But just in case, I'll be there to help you out, Pilgrim. Now, if you are ready, Doctor?
Yeah, go on, I'll be there in a minute.
I recognize a challenge when I've been given one.
Fine, have it your way.
I will. A surgeon's most valuable asset.
Perhaps.
Have you had any problems with it lately?
Hey, you coming?
On my way.
Well, I'm so sorry to have to put you in this position.
Oh, Terry, that's what a campaign manager's for. I don't mind telling you, I wish that you'd made that decision a little bit sooner, but... Terry, I respect your honesty and your courage.
Thank you, Harold. I appreciate your saying that.
There is a question I need to ask you, though, and I hope you'll be just as honest with me as you have been with Dave.
Well, of course I will be. Why shouldn't I be?
Well, you might not appreciate the question, or my reason for asking it.
Well, what is it?
I need to know if I can count on you to campaign for Dave.
Well, that's a perfectly legitimate question.
Well, my reason for asking it is that, Dave's wife, if she didn't campaign for him, would be pretty conspicuous because of her absence. But his fiancée, on the other hand, might not stick out quite so much if she weren't there. I think that's the real reason you postponed the wedding, because you don't feel like you can stand beside Dave in this campaign. Am I right?
Of course I've seen this ridiculous article. I hope that's not the reason of such extreme importance that you had to see me.
Vanessa, you don't think that's important?
I think it is nothing but trash. Libelous trash. I don't know why I came to this backwater town in the first place. Nobody appreciates me. They don't appreciate my work, the people I've helped, or anything that I've done. And that is the kind of thanks that I get.
Vanessa,
The
look.
Chronicle has had me on their hit list since I first stepped foot in this town. And people like your friend, Gene Redlin, and his ilk are precisely why they are such a threat to me and everything that I stand
Now, wait
for.
a minute. You can't blame me for that. I'm the one that exposed Gene to you, and you said you could handle him.
And I have done exactly that.
Well, then why is he writing these articles then?
Oh, his name may be on the byline of that article, but the responsibility for that piece lies solely in the hands of a certain Miss Phillips, Miss Stacy Phillips. I know that for a fact.
Stacy?
Yes. But you can be sure that I'll deal with her in my own good time.
Look, Vanessa, I know that you're very upset, and believe me, I understand that article does not paint you or Domi in a very good picture. But something I really have to know. How much of this is true?
Make a deal with you? You think I'm insane?
Just appreciate my little scheme to support Dave Phillips without his knowing it. And if you've been following the polls, you'd know it's working. He's eating away at Wainwright's base support.
I don't see the point in this discussion.
If you get off your high horse, you might see that we have a couple of things in common. One, we both like Kingsley. We'd like to stay around for a long time. Am I right?
Go on.
And two, we'd like to make our stay a profitable one. And all that would take, as I see it, is a little cooperation between us.
Cooperation?
All right, back-scratching, if you prefer. The point is, with one of us a congressman and one of us a leading businessman, the potential is limitless. Well, our work in the shipping company is a good example.
What has Commonwealth Trans got to do with any of this?
We both profited from my presence on your board of directors. I enjoyed being part of the business community again. I made some invaluable contacts. You garnered some much-needed publicity for your new venture, not to mention the expediting of several bothersome bureaucratic hassles, which I was able to accomplish for you.
Yes, you have been helpful. That's why I wanted you on the board in the first place.
Yes, but if CTE prospers, I mean CTE really prospers, think of what an asset I'd be then. Tax advantages, a line on government spending, invitations to congressional functions where the bid potential is staggering. The opportunities would be unlimited if we're working together. If I can really count on you.
All this if. If I'm willing to forget what I heard you and that rodent Dan Myers discussing this morning.
Oh, Preston. I know I can rely on your discretion about that. No. It's something else entirely I need from you.
Oh, I see. You're implying that my calling off the wedding was a calculated move towards protecting myself from the hassles and the inconveniences of that campaign. What simply isn't true.
If you say it, Terry, then I accept it. You're protecting yourself from something, though.
Now, I'm not protecting myself, Harold. I'm protecting our relationship, mine and Dave's as a whole, with all the spiritual, emotional, and professional things that involves. That's what I'm trying to protect.
Terry, I can't really see what that has to do with this campaign.
Well, I guess I can't expect you to. But the fact is that since this whole thing began, I've seen a change in Dave. Something in him that I was never aware of before, an ambition.
Gosh, Terry, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious.
Well, of course there isn't. But when you see it surface in somebody you love, it makes you look at things. It makes you look at your relationship in a different perspective. I just don't want things to get out of hand. I just don't want Dave's decision to influence our relationship.
I don't see how that could possibly happen. Not with Dave.
Well, I can. Look, I've seen the hard-driving approach you've taken to this campaign, and I must say I'm not...
Oh, Terry, that's not fair.
Well, fair or not, Harold, that's the way I see it.
Terry, when I commit myself to something, I got to go for it 100%.
Harold, I understand that, but... Well, look, I don't know a whole lot about politics. But I do know this. Well, it's true that there are many people who would go out of their way for Dave, who would support him right down to the wire. The fact is that the majority of people in Kingsley know him by name only, if at all. I mean, they're still going to back their party's candidate.
That's not necessarily true, Terry. I mean, people are more politically savvy than they used to be. They don't necessarily vote right straight along party lines anymore.
Yeah, but Dave doesn't even have a party behind him. He's running as an independent with no experience. I mean, it is totally unrealistic to think that he can defeat two seasoned politicians.
Terry, I felt exactly the same way before I got involved in this campaign, but now I'm behind Dave all the way. Have you seen the polls? We're up to 11%.
Which is very impressive for a newcomer, I grant you. But it's going to stay at 11% unless a miracle happens.
I thought you believed in miracles.
I do. But that doesn't stop me from facing reality. And the reality is that Dave has no clear-cut platform. He has little or no financial backing. He has very few volunteers who can do the nitty-gritty, door-to-door, stamp-licking details that have to be done. Harold, all in all, it is an impossible situation. Come Election Day, his name is going to be right down there at the bottom of the ballot. Nobody will ever take it seriously.
Terry, have you talked to Dave about these particular things?
I've told him I didn't think he could win. Maybe not in terms as strong as I've used with you.
Okay. I guess that brings me back to my original question.
Harold, as you know, in addition to my regular duties at the hospital, I've been asked to set up the Rape Crisis Center. Now, that is going to severely limit my time over the next few months.
Does that mean that your answer is no?
It means that I intend to support Dave, not his campaign.
I wish you luck. I'm not sure you can do one without the other.
What is it you're trying to say?
Vanessa, all of the people that you pick out for the upper levels of DOMI all seem to be the same type of person.
My students are chosen on the basis of their potential for growth and nothing else.
Yeah, but they all seem to have something in common. Money, a lot of money.
Well, if that were true, would I have taken you on? Hardly.
Vanessa, you took me on because you had something to gain from me. I had information about Gene Redlin. And ever since you've had me on this recruiting campaign to get everybody I know involved in DOMI.
I took you on because I was trying to salvage your life of dependency upon others. Nancy, you don't have any other friends besides me.
Vanessa, I am paying you a lot of money to help me out with my problems, and I don't think it's getting any better. In fact, I feel like it's getting a whole lot worse. I mean, I'm depressed. I'm isolated. I'm a lot poorer than I was before. And even that power that I had, well, it's gone.
Of course it is, because of your wretched self-pity.
Maybe. Maybe it is. Or maybe it was just a string of coincidences in the first place. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. With all this bad publicity, can you understand that?
Yes, I can understand something very clearly. I understand that I've overestimated your potential for self-realization.
No, Vanessa, I need you. I really do. I need all the promises that you gave me about DOMI. I just don't want to end up paying out a whole lot of money and ending up like Mrs. Gilbert, dead in the gutter.
All right, Nancy, that is enough. I'm tired of spoon-feeding you. I've had it with your stupid fears and your complaining and your whining. If you don't like the way things are run around here, you can just leave.
I didn't mean that. I really didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I don't want to leave.
Of course you don't. Even if you did want to, you probably couldn't. Which makes this whole little sniveling charade rather foolish, don't you think?
What are you after, Carruthers?
I'll be honest with you, Preston. It isn't easy funding Dave Phillips and my own campaign. I need money. Oh, not an extraordinary amount. And nothing illegally transferred. It can all be done strictly above board. Of course...
Of course what?
Well, I was just thinking it might not look too good for the co-owner of CTE to be supporting me openly. Especially with somebody on the board who's also running for the election. Something kind of sticky about that.
But in supporting you, I would also be supporting the rape of Dave Phillips, and there's some kind of sticky about that.
Preston, this is politics. That's the way the game is played.
It's a game I don't relish playing. I like the man, and I think what you're doing to him is putrid.
Look, no one forced Dave Phillips into this race. I threw out the bait, and he quickly swallowed it.
Bait? What bait?
Well, Judge Sawyer cast out the first line.
So, he's one of your flunkies, too.
Oh, the man detests me. But I mentioned to him how relieved I was not to be running against a man like Phillips. So, of course, he immediately went running with that to Phillips.
I gotta admit, you are a clever weasel.
And then there's my political right arm, as I call it. Although no one knows I control it. The Responsible Citizens Movement dropped the campaign funds right in his lap. And he was off and running, no questions asked. Beautiful, don't you think?
And I guess you have something beautiful planned for Hugh Wainwright, the more dangerous opponent?
Preston, you anticipate me perfectly. You see, we're even thinking alike already. Well, you heard my offer. What's your answer?
Thank you, nurse.
You all right?
Yeah, sure. Brian, you said this would be delicate, but separating the tissue muscles is...
Ben, it's just like I told you.
Yeah, I know. Dissect the muscle planes. Levator first, then the Mueller muscle.
What is it, Ben?
It's my hand. It seems to be cramping up on me.
Oh, no.
No, I'm okay. I'm all right, believe me, I just need a breather.
Not with one of my patients. Nurse, stand by.
Yes, Dr. Graham.
Dan.
All right, you better finish up for me.
Gloves.
Yes, sir.
Sponge that area around the incision.
Yes, Doctor.
Scalpel.